it's Corey, and today you're gonna learn how to play You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. This tune is a really great beginner song because we're basically using one strumming pattern throughout, and it uses the same 4 chords and the same progression throughout the entire song. So let's just get started. So the first thing you should know for this song before we get into the chords is that we did change the key to make the chords a little bit easier for a beginner player, but it's only the difference of about a whole step. So the main 4 chords we're going to be using, and I'm actually going to present them to you in the order that we're going to be playing them, are the G major chord, the D major chord, the A minor chord, and then the C major chord. So to start, let's look at the G major. To make a G major chord, you're going to first start with your first finger, and you're going to place that on the 2nd fret 3rd string. Then you're going to take your 2nd finger, place it on the 2nd fret 1st string, and then take your 3rd finger and place it on the 3rd fret 2nd string. All right, next up we have the D major chord. For the D major, it's going to take place all on the 2nd fret here, and you're going to first take your first finger, place it on the 4th string, your 2nd finger is going to go on the 3rd string, and then your 3rd finger is going to go on the 2nd string. And then the last 2 chords we're using are just 1 finger chords, so they're really easy for a beginner player to play, and that is the A minor, which is going to be your 2nd finger placed on the 2nd fret 4th string, and then your 3rd finger placed on the 1st string of the 3rd fret for the C major. So those are all of the chords you need for the entire song, and you're just going to be playing them in that order of G major to D major to A minor to then C major. Now, unfortunately for the chords we're using today, there aren't any clear transitions between the different chords, so just make sure you're using the finger positioning that I'm recommending here. So they kind of do count as like full lift chord changes, but in general, especially with that A minor to the C major, notice that they don't have any shared fingers, so that should be a pretty easy one to transition to, but that G major to the D major might be a little bit harder, so just make sure to give yourself ample of practice time to be able to play the G major, followed by the D minor, followed by the A minor to the C major, back to the G with no problem. And if you can play that, you now can do everything that you need for this song, at least in the easiest way possible. Once you have those 4 chords really solidified, then it's time to look at the strumming pattern. For this tune, we're only going to be using one strumming pattern, and it's the island strum. If you don't already know the island strum, demonstrated on a G major, it's a down, down, up, up, down, up. Up to time, it would be down, down, up, down, up. This offers a really nice imitation of what's going on in the accompaniment, but also it's really easy for beginners to play and often one of the first strumming patterns you learn. If that is still a little bit too tricky for you though, you could always just play on the chord changes or on the beat. Often if you use a combination of a strumming pattern and then chord changes or playing on the beat in tandem with each other and at different parts in the song, you can make the song sound a lot more interesting without actually increasing the difficulty by that much. Today we're mostly going to be using just that island strum paired with a few moments of playing on the chord changes with a few mutes in order to give a little bit of stylistic flair to the tune. Once you're really comfortable with that island strum, and if you need more guidance on that, I do have a couple videos that I'll make sure to link in the cards that talk about the island strum specifically. But once you're at that point, let's kind of take a look at the roadmap of this tune so you know about a few places where we're going to be changing up the strumming pattern a little bit. So as I said before, most of this tune, we're just going to be playing on the strumming pattern of a down, down, up, down, up. This is going to continue until we get to the pre-chorus, where when we have that what you're looking for has been here the whole time. Last line of the pre-chorus that we're going to be actually changing up what we're doing with our strumming. In this case, when we get to what you're looking for, that's just going to be a single down strum, and then you're going to, for the next beats, just do a strum, strum, strum. So when you're going to be strumming down on that line, it's going to be that single strum on looking and then here the whole time. So that entire section with the line leading up to it sounds like this. 1, 2, here we go. Dreaming about the day where you wake up and find that what you're looking for has been here the whole time. After that, that, we're gonna go right into that first kind of chorus. Again, this is a little bit muted in comparison to the other choruses that are gonna come after, later in the song. And then when we get to that first of the first chorus, You Belong With Me, we're gonna go again back to just playing on a single strum, because at this point we'll be doing the strumming pattern. And then we're going to go into the G major, which will actually play for 2 full strumming patterns before we jump into verse 2. Verse 2 is going to be just on the strumming pattern of what you'd expect. And then when we get into the pre-chorus, we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the previous pre-chorus about playing just on the chord changes, and then with a solid strum over here whole time, like in the first pre-chorus. After this, we then go back to the regular chorus, and everything is what you'd expect it to be as far as strumming pattern, where it's going to be staying on the island strum until we get to the bridge. For the bridge section though, we're going to be playing on the chord change, but with a mute. So what that ends up sounding like is you strum, I would recommend with your thumb, and then you're just going to place your hand over it to stop it or to mute the strings. So it turns into a strum, mute, and then you just kind of do that fast. You can practice that a few times until you kind of get it down, but ultimately what it will sound like with the bridge is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I remember you driving to our house in the middle of the night. I'm the one who makes you laugh when you know you're about to cry. I know your favorite songs, you can tell me about your dreams. Think I know where you belong, think I know it's with me. That last, I think I know it's with me, is a little bit of a slower one because you're slowing down the tempo a little bit on that line. Then when we go into that final chorus, I would pull it back a little bit on your strumming, be a little quieter with your strumming, and then when you get to Why Can't You See, we're gonna have another single strum, and it's notated in the play along and on the song sheet too. And then you go back into You Belong With Me with the regular strumming, and you're gonna continue just on that regular strumming pattern until you get to the very last G of the song, where you end, You Belong With Me. And that ends out the tune. Earlier in the tutorial, I did say that you're following the G to D major to A minor to C major progression for the entire song. That is true, but you are switching it up a little bit for the bridge section. For that one, you're actually playing A minor, C, G, D. So it's a little bit different, but the chords are still the same. You're just changing the progression a little bit just to add that little bit of change in the bridge section. That's pretty typical in a lot of pop tunes especially. Those are all the kind of pieces. If you're curious of how they really fit together as a whole, check out the play along. I'm going to do that in just a second, and then you can kind of zoom back to different parts in the tutorial. But for the most part, this is pretty easy. We have some really beginner friendly chords, a single strumming pattern being utilized throughout, and you can always take out all that extra stuff if you want. You could find different sections where you need to just play on the chord changes or play on the beat to make it more accessible for yourself. And that's totally fine too. Take all those little things and make it your own. You don't have to do the exact thing that I'm recommending in this play along. You can kind of switch it up the way you'd like to. And before we hop into the play along, just as a general note, you're going to be playing most of the chords for 2 strumming patterns and then changing while in that general progression. And that is going to be the same with the bridge. It's just you're not going to be strumming those full strumming patterns. Instead, you're going to be doing the chord change with the mute. But with that, let's give it a play along. 1, 2, here we go. You're on the phone with your girlfriend, she's upset, she's going off about something that you said. She doesn't get your humor like I do. I'm in the room, it's a typical Tuesday night. I'm listening to the kind of music she doesn't like. She'll never know your story like I do. But she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers, dreaming about the day where you wake up and find that what you're looking for has been here the whole time. If you see that I'm the one who understands you, been here all along, so why can't you see? with you in your worn out jeans. I can't help thinking this is how it ought to be. Laughing on a park bench, thinking to myself, hey, isn't this easy? And you've got a smile that can light up this whole town. Haven't seen it in a while since she brought you down. You say you're fine, I know you're better than that. Hey, what you doing with a girl like that? She wears high heels, I wear sneakers. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers, dreaming about the day where you wake up and find that what you're looking for has been here the whole time. If you see that I'm the one who understands you, been here all along, so why can't you see? You belong with me. Standing by you, waiting at your back door all this time. How could you not know, baby? You belong with me. You belong with me. Oh, I remember you driving to my house in the middle of the night. I'm the one who makes you laugh when you know you're about to cry. I know your favorite songs and you tell me about your dreams. Think I know where you belong, think I know what's with me. Can't you see that I'm the one who understands you? Been here all along, so why can't you see? You belong with me. Standing by you, waiting at your back door all this time. How could you not know, baby? You belong with me. You belong with me. You belong with me. Have you ever thought just maybe you belong with me? You belong with me. All right, so that's You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift, an easier version. The original's not crazy hard, but this is definitely an easier version of it. So I hope you enjoy. If you are a big Taylor Swift fan, I have quite a few tutorials and play-alongs now on my channel that there are some that you haven't seen me do. Make sure to like this video and then comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see or what your favorites are. I've been listening to a lot of Taylor Swift lately with the Eras tour going on. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go, but I've been really just living out that Era's lifestyle with Spotify. So I hope you guys have a great day, and otherwise I will see you next time. Bye.